The ArkLaMiss region has some of the lowest credit scores out of all 50 states. Kenya Ross joins us live with some of the reasons why. Kenya?
That's true, LaShonda. Louisiana, Arkansas, and Mississippi are listed with the bottom 10 states with low credit scores, but the average credit scores in these states are still considered good.
Southern states tend to have higher poverty rates. So, for example, Mississippi, that has the lowest average credit score right below Louisiana, has the highest national poverty rate of 19.2%. And Louisiana is right there following them at 18%.
According to MarketWatch guides, Louisiana has the second lowest credit score out of all the states, while Mississippi comes in at first and Arkansas at 7th. All three states have an average credit score between 680 and 696, which is still considered good. Maintaining timely credit card payments is one of the top ways to improve credit scores, and an improved credit score can lead to someone saving money.
Louisianans, if you increase your credit score by that one band, so it would be going from the 690 that the average Louisiana household has now, increasing up to a 700. So just 10 points could save you over $13,000 of the lifetime of your mortgage.
According to Experian, the average consumer debt in Louisiana last year was more than $80,000.
You may or may not want to keep somewhat of a balance in there, but just making sure you get that on time is one of the most important ways to maintain your credit score and keep it from going down. It's also important to ensure there's the visibility of rent and utility payments, just making sure that lenders can see you're keeping up with multiple different kinds of payments.
And on Canley.com, we'll have more ways to help increase your credit score. LaShonda?